Good morning, Greater Latrobe. From the WCAT-TV Studio, I'm Zoe Favada. The yearbook staff has a limited number of extra yearbooks that will be for sale. They can be purchased for $110 cash or money order on a first-come, first-served basis. The Environmental Club is collecting gently used binders and notebooks to be distributed next school year. If you have any binders or notebooks that are still in good shape and can be used by another student, please drop them off in the bins outside Ms. Richter's room S201. Any student taking Mr. Pratt's AP US History class next year who missed move-up day is asked to stop by his room before the end of the year to pick up the summer assignment. Students signed up for capstone next school year and missed move-up day are asked to see Mr. Roberts in A5 for your packet. Any students who are interested in girls wrestling, please stop by the athletic office to sign up, and if you need more information about the sport or upcoming season, please stop by and see Mr. Ludwig. The girls field hockey team is looking for any current 9th through 11th grade girl interested in joining a new sport this fall. No previous experience is required. An informational meeting will be held soon, and optional summer practices will be held for anyone who is interested in joining the team. Equipment will be available at practice for anyone who needs it. A sign-up sheet is in the athletic office. And attention any current 9th through 11th grade girl interested in playing soccer next fall. An informational meeting will be held soon, and optional summer practices and strength training will be held for anyone who is interested in joining the team. Please see Ms. Morrison in S202 for more information. Any athlete who missed the cross-country meeting should see Coach Simpson in C112 any morning during Wildcat time to get more information about the summer training in the fall season.
On Wednesday the 31st during Lunch and Learn and Thursday morning, there will be a Pottery Barn sale in room F201. You can browse the left behind ceramic works and take home what you like for free. Anything left will be thrown out.
Congratulations to the following broadcast and video production students for their recent achievements in the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Mid-Atlantic Chapter Students Production Awards. Ramaya Henderson won for her commercial, Get Hype for Boys Lacrosse. The WCAT-TV staff was nominated Best Magazine Show for their production of Wildcat All Access. Lucy Gross was nominated for her PSA, Ugly Food, Good as Picture Perfect. And Tim Myers, Brody Rimmon, and Michael Vito were nominated for their PSA, Not This Time. At the Robert Morrison University Digital Media Arts Consortium Student Festival, Richard Hillwig received the Founders Award for his contributions to the school's media programs. Zoe Favada received an Award of Excellence in the Public Service Announcement category. Lucy Gross received an Award of Excellence Instructional Video category, and Lily Haverly was recognized for the Best in category for her animation/stop motion video. Congratulations to the entire team for a job well done. With the aim of preparing the students of Latrobe for the future, the school is changing quite a bit. One of these changes is specifically focused on preparing students for the workforce. Here is Noah Gallenbush with more information.
The Practical Assessment Exploration System, or PAYS Lab, is a place where students can be exposed to different job fields in order to prepare them for life in the workforce. Students who take this class will use different materials and techniques in a safe environment to further themselves in numerous fields. The PAYS Lab will be up and running in time for the next school year and will have plenty of activities to prepare students for the field of their choice.
So there are different career pathways or different job clusters that they'll go through. There's about 4 or 5 of them. Behind me you can see there's construction and industrial, business marketing, consumer science or consumer service, processing, production, and computer technology.
To prepare students, the lab has plenty of equipment from a vacuum cleaner and cleaning supplies to a mug press and sewing machine.
This program is huge and there's a lot of pieces to it. For example, each career cluster has task boxes, and there will be instructions in there, and it will show the student what they have to do, so there'll be a variety of tools.
Students in the district are not only very lucky to be able to have access to one of the few PAYS labs in the county, but are also lucky enough to have other hands-on programs that ready our students for the future.
So right now my program has the Cats Cafe and Wildcat Work. So the Cats Cafe is primarily, it's here at school where kids work, and Wildcat Work is out in the community. So I felt like I needed something in between for my students to get a job exposure to. So the PAYS Lab is a great vocational program for them to be able to practice job skills, but be in their home school.
Students who will be using the lab will be selected by the teachers, but if the lab seems interesting to you, you are more than welcome to come down and assist.
If you are a student who would like to get involved in our PAYS Lab, we may have opportunities for students to volunteer next year. If you have an open set in your schedule, you can certainly stop by and talk to Mrs. Beckus or one of our wonderful classroom assistant teachers about possibly helping work with a student or prepare materials for the PAYS lab.
The addition of the PAYS lab will better our schools, students, and future of our community. Reporting for WCAT TV News, I'm Noah Gallenbush.
Target-based learning is a new way of teaching and grading the plans to benefit both teachers and students. Here is reporter Jake Shawless with the story.
Traditional standardized testing and grading practices may become a thing of the past at Greater Latrobe School District. In the COLLAB, which stands for Coaching of Learning Lab, teachers learn about this new learning style with learning coaches.
Target-based learning has gained momentum because it's student-centered, student-focused, and really fosters that growth mindset. It gives students many opportunities to demonstrate their learning and to continue to grow.
While in a traditional test, students may fail due to misunderstanding one concept, target-based learning allows students to make corrections to still demonstrate learning.
So think about a test that you have in a class that's typically out of 100 points, and maybe you score an 85% on that test. We know that an 85 is a B. However, do you know what areas of that test you're proficient on and maybe which areas you could use some improvement? In target-based learning, that same test would be made up of multiple learning targets that are all evaluated individually. This will provide you as a student with more clarity on the skills, concepts, and knowledge that you've got, and ones that you need to spend a little bit more time learning and focusing on.
Using this variety of learning targets, the coaches anticipate benefits to both teachers and students.
Teachers will benefit from target-based learning because it actually makes it easier to give more specific feedback to your students. Students will benefit because that more specific feedback will help them to take action and improve their learning.
Target-based learning is set to be enacted within the next few years. While the coaches expect target-based learning to benefit the district, they do foresee some challenges with its implementation.
I think that students may feel uncomfortable at first because they are used to a more traditional way of grading. However, we just encourage students to be open-minded and give it a chance and see how target-based learning can benefit them.
Within the next few years, this initiative plans to provide a fresh system of learning that will hopefully improve the educational experience of both students and teachers. Reporting for WCAT TV, I'm Jake Shawless.
Since January 2023, the K-12 database has recorded 89 gun-related incidents at school. At least 19 ended in fatalities across the U.S. Here's reporter Brianna Vesley with how Greater Latrobe is taking safety measures in our building.
Here at Greater Latrobe, several precautions are in place for the unthinkable. A team of resource officers with a wide range of experience is monitoring the school at all times. Outside of the school, visitors will find several Greater Latrobe police cars throughout the day, showing potential intruders what waits just behind those doors.
We have the camera systems in the school. We harp on locked doors. Okay, don't prop doors open. Don't let students in that want to come in. Make them come to the front door, because how do you know that, like, if you let that student in, that door gets re-secured afterwards?
Before visitors can enter the building, they must stop in the main office, where identification is checked. Once recorded, they can proceed into the building.
Like with buses arriving and parents dropping off, there's not one day that goes by that they don't see at least 3, 4, 5 of us here on any given day.
Pennsylvania has recognized the need for increased safety for schools. The state's School Safety and Security Committee awards grants to reduce community violence and improve health services and intervention strategies. In 2020, Greater Latrobe received a grant of $40,000 to help improve the safety and security of the school. Some of these improvements are visible to students.
I do feel very safe with all the resource officers in this building, especially when I see them in the morning. And yes, I would say I do feel safe.
In addition to the increased presence of resource officers, students regularly go through stay-in-place drills, where they have a discussion about active intruders in the building and how they would react depending on their location.
No matter what my job is here, I mean, if you need help, I'm going to help you.
While we never know what could happen, the school resource officers have an added element of security to our building. Reporting for WCAT TV, I'm Brianna Vesley.
You may have heard the buzz about some of the renovations at our school. Here's Maria Angelico with an update.
Greater Latrobe strives to create modernized environments for students to learn and grow. After an intense visioning process, the school has decided to make some renovations.
So We have spent the last 14 months going through a master planning visioning process when it comes to all of the buildings in the school district. You know that we have 5 schools in the district. We have the senior high school, the junior high school, and then we have Bagley, Latrobe Elementary, and Mountain View Elementary. And when we look at 4 of those 5 buildings, Latrobe Elementary is obviously the new building, but it's 4 years old. So we call it new, but it's 4 years old. But the high school hasn't been renovated or touched since like 2001. The junior high school hasn't been renovated. There was a small renovation a few years ago at the junior high in that long corridor by the gymnasium, but that building hasn't been renovated since 1999. Bagley and Mountain View haven't been touched since 1998. So they are at that point where we have to make decisions about what to do with them moving forward. So we met with teachers, we met with students, we met with community members, and we tried to figure out what we wanted our schools to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, knowing that we are coming up on that renovation cycle. Because typically buildings get touched every 20 to 25, 30 years. So that's kind of what started the whole process.
After an intense visioning process, the district has made decisions on renovations to come of our school buildings.
When you look at the age of our school buildings, we really haven't had a complete overhaul of them in many years. So when you look at the way kids learn today and the way that we want kids to learn to prepare them for the future, we need spaces for project-based learning. We have several project-based learning classes right now, but we just don't have the space to put 40 or 50 kids together. So that's number one. Number two, we need kids collaborating, and we have to have the space to do that. And once again, we just don't. So one of the major goal with the school remodel is to really create spaces that are future focused, to get kids learning, to implement the skills that we feel they're going to need to be successful once they leave us.
Although the remodel will take place in the future, students may be impacted by it.
Well, so let's just say that we're going to rebuild or renovate. Students would obviously be impacted because that's a project that would take 18 to 24 months to complete. If we just talk about the high school, because that's what's most relevant to you, we would not be building a new high school, we would be renovating the current high school. So for 18 to 24 months, you would have construction materials, construction workers, construction vehicles on site. It could change traffic patterns in the morning. It could change your patterns during the school day. We could, sometimes during renovations, they'll take one house, they'll move everybody out of it, and they renovate that area. So, and having gone through, actually, I went through the renovation at the junior high school. There was one year as a teacher that I moved my classroom 3 times. So that meant my students had to move 3 times. As a high school senior, my high school was actually being renovated too, so I know what it's like from that side. But I would just say it's that constant flow of construction that would probably most impact your day.
In addition to complete remodels, some updates are needed to improve the students' learning experience.
A great question. I think when we met with all of our different focus groups throughout last spring and throughout the summer, throughout the fall, it was very clear that, and people felt very strongly that the junior high needs remodeled, or actually demolished, and a new one needs built. So I think the plan right now is within a couple years, maybe 5, 6, that's all still being determined, to build a complete new 7-8 building.
The team working on the remodel are open to students being involved in this process. If you want to find out more about the upcoming project, visit futureglsd.com. Although plans are still being finalized, we can expect to see a remodel within the next few years. Reporting for WCAT-TV, I'm Maria Angelicchio.
A schedule change is coming next year. Here's reporter Abby Kunkelman to answer some of the questions you may have about the change.
Over the last 3 years, our school has had many schedule changes to help better the educational experience for our students and staff. Next year, we'll be experiencing another schedule change to help better our school community. The start time for students will be shifted to 7:45 a.m. There will be no Wildcat time. Instead, teachers will have professional development time. Even though there's no Wildcat time, teachers will still be available to help students if needed. In addition, the bell schedule will change because of school starting earlier. For freshmen, there will be 3 morning classes and then 3 classes in the afternoon. 10th through 12th graders will continue with the block scheduling and have 2 classes in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Furthermore, 9th through 12th will all have the same lunch and learn block. There will also be a homeroom before Lunch and Learn, so teachers and staff can distribute information and students can watch the morning announcements. Homeroom will be approximately 20 minutes. The administration team had a few reasons for these adjustments.
Number one, it solidifies time and opportunities in the morning for staff members who have classes that are 9th grade and then classes that are somewhere 10 through 12. Much like the afternoon, we can have more flexibility with our staff member. It's a change, and sometimes change is a little difficult from the standpoint of unfamiliarity, but once I think we get rolling with the routine, doing Lunch and Learn, for example, and kind of mentioned it in various large group meetings this year, we're going to put more of an emphasis on career future readiness and citizenship in association with the learning opportunities through the arts, the athletics, academics.
Some students had a different opinion on the schedule change.
I like the 15 minutes of homeroom.
I don't like that we start 15 minutes early. I think we should keep the old schedule the same.
The schedule change is designed to help everyone involved. This may take some time to adjust, but with patience and understanding, we can hopefully make the transition as smooth as possible. Reporting from WCAT-TV, I'm Abby Kunkelman.
Next up, we have a segment that features two of our wonderful substitute teachers and what it means to them to be a part of our GLSD community.
Here at Greater Latrobe, we are very lucky to have talented and dedicated substitutes who really love what they do. The day-to-day substitutes are an important part of our GLSD community.
We try to continue the educational process while the teacher is out, take attendance, there's little odd jobs that we fill into, so we just are support staff. So we're here so that things keep rolling along.
Ms. Condrich is a prospective teacher and views subbing as an opportunity to make connections.
So it's hard in Pennsylvania, especially Western Pennsylvania, to get a teaching job. So by subbing, you get your foot in the door with one district or multiple district, and it gives you that opportunity to get to know the administration, get to know the staff and the faculty and the students, and then build relationships to then hopefully get a job from there.
Subbing takes a lot of initiative. Sometimes our substitutes have to do odd jobs or help out where they can to keep things running smoothly.
I would say something I do a lot of the time is if I don't have anything to do for that day, I will go to teachers and be like, what can I do to help you? And so a lot of times I'll be making copies or helping grade exams, just helping the teachers who are here and just drowning in work a little bit, get them on the right track so they can get ahead of their day.
Yeah. Even though some things they do may seem a little undesirable, Ms. Condrich and Mr. Ludwig both have such enthusiasm for what they do.
I kind of relate everything to the 50s music. I'm a big fan of the 50s. So I have two songs that I think about when I think about Latrobe. And one of them is from Leandro and the Hearts, and it's called I'm Glad to Be Here, I'm Really Glad to Be Here. And that applies to being here at Latrobe. And then Dee Clark is another artist from that time period, and he had a song called Keep It Up. So Latrobe, keep it up.
A lot of times when I say that I'm a sub or a building sub, the kids immediately are like, well, you're just a substitute, but I'm not. I honestly love what I do, and being here in the building every day, I get to have relationships with all 1,200 students, not just the 60 I have in a classroom if I were a full-time teacher.
Ms. Condrich and Mr. Ludwig are just a small part of our very dedicated team of subs. So, the next time you see a sub in the hallway, thank them for all the hard work they put into our school. Reporting for WCAT-TV, I'm Ben Federico.
We go to reporter Jacob Urbanik for more about the dress code policy.
In the halls of Greater Latrobe, you may find students wearing hats, even though it's a violation of our dress code policy. While many students feel wearing a hat is a way to express themselves, it's a mark of respect that hats are not worn inside.
Social norms said that out of respect for the place that you were at, a formal setting like school, or a formal setting like church, or a formal setting like a fancy restaurant or a wedding or places like that.
In a school environment, wearing a hat indoors can also be a safety concern.
There's a situation that occurs, a fight, or something is vandalized, or for some other reason somebody is assaulted, or whatever the situation might be, we need to be able to see faces for those safety reasons.
While students can't wear hats in school due to the dress code policy, there are other ways that students can express themselves at schools.
Kids with graphic t-shirts and wearing different types of any type of article of clothing, whether it be your shoes or your shirts, you know, the ripped jeans, those types of things are all ways of showing self-expression, as well as any type of piercings or things of that nature.
Students are still encouraged to find other ways to express themselves while still following the school's dress code policy. Reporting from WCATV Studio, I'm Jacob Urbanek.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of WCAT TV News. Have a great day, Latrobe. We are GL. Go Wildcats!